Well, today I've got two 1935 $1 silver certificates. At first glance, they look almost identical, don't they? Well, they're the same series, the same design, and they're both over 70 years old. But if you look a little closer, you'll notice one looks crisp and well preserved, while the other clearly spent years being passed from one person to another. So today, let's compare these two historic bills and see what makes them so interesting. One of the first things you'll notice is the blue Treasury seal right there. Modern one-day bills use a green seal, but silver certificates have this blue seal, making them easy to recognize. Across the top, you'll also see the word silver certificate. That's where these bills get their name. What made these special? Well, years ago, this wasn't just a piece of paper. This certificate represented real silver that was held by the U.S. Treasury. At one time, the person holding this bill could exchange it for silver. That's why you also see the wording along the bottom that says, "In silver payable to the bearer on demand." That's a piece of American history you simply don't see on today's money. Same series, different stories. Now let's compare these two bills. The first one is much cleaner. The paper is brighter, the ink still stands out, and there are very few folds. Now look at the second one. You can immediately see the creases, worn edges, darker paper, and signs that it circulated for many years. Even though both bills are from the same series, they've lived completely different lives. Does condition matter? Absolutely. Condition is one of the biggest things collectors look at. A crisp bill that's been well cared for is usually worth more than one that's heavily circulated. That doesn't mean an older, worn-out bill isn't collectible. Sometimes a circulated bill has an interesting serial number, a printed error, or another feature that collectors are looking for. Every bill has its unique serial number. Most are common, but collectors are always searching for low serial numbers, repeaters, ladders, star notes especially, and other fancy serial numbers that can add value. These two different serial numbers showing that every bill has its own story. Near the bottom you'll see the signatures of the Treasurer of the United States and the Secretary of the Treasury. Whenever those officials changed, new signature combinations were introduced, which is one reason you'll see different letter suffixes like 1935A or B, C, D, and this one 1935E. Of course, we also have George Washington on the front. His portrait has appeared on the $1 bill for generations and remains one of the most recognizable images in American currency. Now let's turn the bill over. On the left is a great seal with the unfinished pyramid and the Eye of Providence. Many people simply call it the all-seeing eye. The unfinished pyramid symbolizes strength and growth, while the eye above represents divine guidance over the nation. These bills may only have a face value of $1, but they're much more than that. They represent a time when American paper money could actually be exchanged for silver, and each one carries its own history based on how it was used and preserved. Whether you collect coins, paper currency, or you're just getting started, old bills like these are a fascinating window into America's past. Which bill would you rather own? The crisp, well-preserved example, or the well-traveled bill with decades of history? Let me know down in the comments. And if you enjoy learning about old coins and historic U.S. currency, don't forget to subscribe to the Coin Cabinet, because we've got plenty more pieces of history to explore. Thanks for watching.